today I'm joined with a fellow strongman, disabled strongman, Chris Wolf. He's a legend in my eyes. He's by far one of the people that I look forward to seeing on Facebook and see what he's up to and see what he's doing. But just so you know, like I said, it's episode 3. This podcast is to bring people you wouldn't normally hear about to light and make sure so you can see where they come from and where they've been and where they come and what they're doing next. It's also to do with suicide prevention. So a lot of the talk will be going around that sort of and helping people get motivated and so they got someone to talk to. So I'll introduce Chris. He can tell you a bit about himself, and then we'll crack on with the podcast. So, all right, mate. How are you? You okay?
I'm good, Mark.
Chris, you all right?
Yeah, all good, mate.
And you? Right, mate. So I'm gonna get a few questions fired your way if you can still hear me, and then we'll crack on. So, and where you come from, basically, mate?
So yeah, I'm Chris Wolf. I live down in the Midlands. I compete with you guys with a disabled strongman and that. Since 2019, I got into the sport. I went and did Britain's Disabled Strongman Gary's comp. I've been an amputee since 2018. I lost my leg in a motorbike accident I had out in Thailand in 2016, and then I had like a couple of years of surgeries and things like that, and it weren't working out. So in 2018, I said, look, let's get rid. Took it off in like I think June 2018, and then yeah, I was at Britain's Disabled in April the next year. So like I think it was less than 9 months after losing my leg, I come 4th at Brits, and then mate, it was like a month or so after that I was at Worlds and I come 2nd in my category. So it was a bit of a roller coaster, man.
Yeah, I bet it was. So really, you've in my opinion, and like I said, I know a lot of people in my previous job that are amputees, and to be fair, that recovery or that transition from you being injured is quite quick.
Yeah, quick. It was. Oh yeah, I think it's because of the mindset I had going into it. I mean, in I think 2014, I signed up for the Royal Marines, and I went through all the basic and everything and the aptitude tests and all that, and I was ready to go down to Lympstone. And then I had to disclose my medical history to the capita doctor.
Yeah.
And I was going up just to get signed off. I had my bags packed ready to go to Lympstone. And he goes, "No, you ain't getting in." And I'm like, "What?" He said, "Because you've lied to us." I'm like, "I've never lied to you about anything. What's the problem, like?" And yeah, they come up on my medical history that I'd mentioned a couple of years before I was having trouble with hard drugs. And I'd forgotten all about mentioning it to my GP. And I'd put on the form when I was signing up that there was none of that. And then I'd forgotten that I'd mentioned it. And so, yeah, they said I'd fucking lied to them. So that was a bit of a kick in the dick. But while I was training for that, it changed something in me. Because like I said, I used to be a bit of a tearaway, a bit of a nutter, you know, a bit of a bad lad. And then when I decided to join the Marines, just something switched in me, and I took it on wholeheartedly, and became like a machine. All I wanted to do was train. And then when I got the kickback, and they weren't going to have me, I got into like ultra marathon running as well, really, really long distances, mountain running and that. And that's a discipline, mate. That is. You know
I was going to say we've sort of followed the same sort of transition, really. But I obviously got in. I was in the army. I left the army because I lost the use of my arm.
Yeah.
And then it took me a long time to sort of figure out what I wanted to do. And I've had Mark Airy on the podcast before, and he basically changed the way I was thinking. Basically, at that point, I was a broken man, and I ended up doing the Ironman. So I know that sort of dedication and the ultra stuff, that is unreal. So it's and then I've got into this. I've gone from one extreme sport to another extreme sport. So it's just in your head. You got to get it done. So how would you say your mindset is now to doing what you normally would do?
I mean, I feel like, because I knew the amputation was coming, because obviously I had the accident and then we were going through surgeries and lots of back and forward to specialists and things like that. And I knew, really, I'd done my research and I'd looked into it, the injury I had, I knew I was probably going to lose my leg. So I had time to sort of come to terms with it. Whereas a lot of lads, like, you know, lose them in combat and stuff like that, they don't have that time to transition, where I was lucky where I knew what was coming. Yeah. So I got my mindset right before I went to go and have it done, you know what I mean? So, yeah, like when I had the amputation, I think 2 days after the amputation, I was already working out. I broke into the gym at the hospital, mate. I was in there. The security had to come and try and get me out. I told them, fuck off, I'll fight the pair of you, mate.
I can sympathise with that. I'm telling you, I can understand what you were thinking there, because I'm exactly the same. Yeah. So yeah, that's so. What gets you out of bed nowadays to get up and go and training? Because a lot of people ask me the question is, what gets you out of bed? And my simple witty answer is, I don't go to bed. I don't stop. Do you know what I mean? And don't probably sleep is probably the worst thing for me. Yeah. And I don't like it. I know it's important. I know it's health and all that sort of stuff. But when there's that one thing that scares me to death is going to sleep, is that I refuse. I will try my best not to do it. Yeah. So what gets you out of bed in the morning to do what you do? And the reason why I ask this question is because you get people for all walks of life that really struggle to motivate themselves. And I know, like, people might find offense to this, but there's nothing wrong with them physically. Yeah. So mentally, that's totally different. But we have been through a life-changing injury where we've had to find that motivation to get out of bed, either to fix our mental health, or we flip a switch where we know we're going one way and we ain't going, so we've got to go the other way.
For me, you know what I mean? A lot of it, for me, it's almost like, if I'm honest, it's almost like denial with me. I've not even dealt with the fact that I'm an amputee. I don't even think about it. A lot of the time I forget. I'll walk around and I'll do a bit of window fitting and building work and stuff like this. The other day, I'm up on a ladder, up fucking 3 stories up in the air, on a ladder, holding a window on my shoulder, and I'm on one leg, essentially, and I don't even think about it. And then I look at myself and I think, fucking hell, what are you getting up to here?
See, I don't class myself in my head. I do what I do. And if people want to put a label on it, they put a label on it. Yeah. So totally get what you mean by that, because I'm just exactly the same. Like, I got it in 2010. It took me 6 years to claim PIP. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's something that was like, not the denial part of it, but it was more like the acceptance part of it. So I was like, okay, what's next? What have we got to do next?
I mean,
do you know what I mean?
That's something that probably people would say, ain't the healthiest, like just brushing it off and ignoring it and cracking on. But I think sometimes it is. It's just best just to go, do you know what? If I sit here and feel sorry for myself, then I'm going to come up with excuses not to do things, and I'm going to come up with reasons. Oh, I can't do this because. But if you just go, do you know what? It's got to be done. It's got to be fucking done.
Well, I've heard plenty of people say it. I've heard plenty of people, put themselves down in a negative way. Like I train people, I mentor people, I help people, I work with everyone. And the one thing that I hate more than anything is someone saying, I can't do it.
Yeah. I'm
just saying, I mean? If you, regardless of whether you can or you can't, give it a go. Because if you can't do it after trying, then you can say it. But if you're not going to even attempt to attempt what you do or you want to do, then that at the end of the day, in my head, you're so negative that you're not even looking what's in front of you.
Yeah. And a lot of the time, you'll surprise yourself. Like I've got a little at the gym.
This is Rebel Strength. They do a lot of gym equipment, gym clothing. The discount code is MT5, all capital letters. The website link is in the description below. Let's get back to the podcast.
We're trying out. We've got we've run like Strongman Saturday now, where we've got a little group of lads, and like they make out like I'm a fucking drill sergeant because I'm fucking hard on them. You know what I mean? I'm like, come on, let's get going. I'm roaring, and but like it's because I've found it in myself where a lot of the time, if I'm training, if I don't need to wait or something, and then I'll go, oh, I didn't there today, and then that's lost then. But when I've really been fired up and I've gone on had another go, and then I might get it on the third or fourth. Well, I never would have got that if I weren't hard on myself and pushing through. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I'm the same. I think it's really hard to explain this, but I put it down to mind over body.
Yeah,
I really do.
That's what you're thinking, it? Yeah.
So the way I see, if I see a weight in front of me, and I think for 1 second that I'm not lifting it, it ain't going up.
Mm.
Whereas I've learned not to do that. I don't live in doubt. I don't live with.
Yeah.
If you tell me to do something, you can put the weight on, and I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
If it's too heavy, it's too heavy. But I'm not going to put that saying in my head that I can't, or I'm not going to, or I'm worried, or any slight bit of doubt. And I think that's a switch that people like ourselves, because of the situation we've been put in, we find very easy to do, or we can find it very hard to do. And all it takes is someone to switch that way of thinking, and you're doing it. Do you know what I mean? You don't say can't, and you don't say you won't be able to do it. You just give it a go anyway. Like, to be fair, I've got one arm, the use of one arm, and yet I'm more likely to do something before someone with both arms, both legs. Just like you would be, you'd be more willing to do something which sounds like intense or hard to do it before an able-bodied person, because we flipped that switch. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's something that, like, I personally think, and I'll say it openly, I don't think I would be this strong and this mindset if I didn't hit my arm.
Yeah. That's, and it's like, I think that was like I do a lot of reading. I read a lot of sort of like old philosophers and stuff. Like Marcus Aurelius is one that everyone's sort of always quoting, and I think he said the obstacle is the way, and it's that, you know, you like, rather than using it as an excuse, you go, well, shit, this is going to fire me now to be even more aggressive in what I'm doing. And I'm the same. Like the other day, we went and got some axle wheels down at the gym, and we put them on the axle bar, and we brought it up to try it out. And like, one of the lads I train with, and I'm like, "Can move, I'm going first." And it took me about 7 or 8 goes to press it overhead because I was struggling with the clean and that, and get it up into the rack position. But I just knew that there was no way on this earth I weren't going to press that. I'd still be there now.
Well, exactly. You've seen how I press, and nothing gets in my way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nothing. Yeah. So moving on, mate. So what have you got planned for the future? What have you got, as in not like anything special, anything big, any events? What have you got planned for the future?
Yeah, well, I've started actually putting on comps the last couple of years. I run my own competitions. I do kid.
Oh, give me an invite. I'll come.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, obviously you're always welcome, mate. But we're doing the next one, Kidderminster's Strongest Man 2022. I think it's on the 25th of June, down at Flexible Fitness, my mate's gym in Kiddie. And mate, the events are going amazing. The last two we've done. The last one we had a truck. The last one we had a truck pull, and then this one we've had these this squat built like a rig with whiskey barrels on the end. And it's,
I seen it the other day. I was like, I want to go.
Mate, beautiful bit of kit. Everyone's going.
I want to go. If it's full of JD, mate, I'll be all right. I'll be happy with it.
No chance, mate. I've already polished it. Don't worry about it. But yeah,
so are you planning to go to the Worlds this year, or?
I can't see it, mate. For me, money's a big problem.
See, this is what's going to lead on to my next sort of statement. I think it's going to be quite a passionate one from the pair of us, because on Facebook today, I seen your status. And I couldn't have said it any better. And the status said is why do all the pros in our sport get funded to go and do this and go and do that and go to this place and go to that, where we don't get any. Our sport is self-funded. And I like for the Worlds last year, I had to do a GoFundMe. Do you know what I mean? And that was for me to get there. I'm going to have to pretty much do the same this year, but I'm a little bit gutted that you can't come because you would smash it, and that's what upsets me, because you got someone there who can dominate his class, but yet he hasn't got the chance to. Do you know what I mean? Like personally, if I had an opponent who I wanted to go against and I wanted to beat and I wanted to make myself the best, I would pay for him to go. Do you know what I mean? I would pay for him to go just so I can beat him. That's just me. Do you know what I mean? So that status you said before, you couldn't have put it any better. I swear to God, you couldn't put it any better. Because at the end of the day, that's exactly what it's for.
I was saying earlier, it's just like, it's a shame. It is a shame for the sport that you've got these classes running, and you've got world's strongest disabled man there, which should be the absolute pinnacle of the sport. And then you've got classes with maybe 2 or 3 people in, and they're not necessarily the best athletes. They're just the ones that had the money to get there. And it should never be that way. It should never be that way. I know that there's more athletes. I mean, you've got Mark Maskell, people like that from England who he is awesome in my category. And you've got there's lads over in America that are all part of my category, but they never compete because it's too expensive. And that's such a shame for the sport. Even
if you're a true competitor, you want to go against someone who gives you that bit of fear that they might win you.
Yeah.
Because to tell you something, that's what's going to make me work my ass off.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Whereas, do you know what I mean? You get people in all different countries that can't get to an event.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like I want to beat James Burgess.
Yeah.
That's who I want to be. Couldn't care who else comes. Couldn't care who puts in front of me.
Yeah.
I beat everyone. Yeah. He's the person I want to beat.
Well, it was the first name you said to me when we first.
Do you know what I mean? Exactly. That's the first person I want. To be fair, because to me, he is the best.
Yeah.
And I've got to beat him.
You want to be the best, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I want to be the best. So until I beat him, that's how I see it. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So I want to go to Canada just to beat him. Yeah. Now I've got nothing against the lad. I don't know the lad. I'm not going to say anything bad about him. But he's to me, he's like, he's not competed for the last 2 years. But he's not stopped. I still see what he's doing every day. So it's like, I want to beat him. Sometimes it's a little bit of tit and tat, like not verbally or text or whatever for that. Like I'll put a video on of me doing something, and then he'll put a video on him doing the same. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit like that. So to be fair, I know I worry him.
Yeah.
But I reckon that'll be a competition.
Yeah.
I reckon that'll be competitive, and I reckon that'll be, best man standing at the end of the day.
The sport needs that. The sport needs those sort of rivalries where you've got James there, who's up on the top. He's been the man. You're coming up. You're full of fire, and like you say, you've got that little bit of tit for tat going. That the rivalry's building. But then, say if you couldn't afford to get to Canada, an anti-climax for the sport.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It destroys the sport. But like, if we want to grow the sport, if we want to make it into a big thing, something that's popular, you've got to be able to bring those rivalries together and see what happens, and because there's going to be fireworks in there, you know what I mean?
Well, nothing physical or like I said, I'm not against the lad. But I'll tell you something, I'm going to make him work to beat me. At the end of like Iceland, the Wounded Highlanders, we are a team of injured, sick veterans competing in the Scottish Highland Games. My discount code is TONNER10, TONNER, all in capital letters. You can visit the website, it's in the description below. Let's get back to the podcast. Mike turned around and said, you were a different person on that day. You were a different person.
Yeah.
Because it was Remembering Sunday. That's why. No one was beating me on that day.
Yeah,
no one.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, if I go over to Canada, nothing's going to get in my way. He's the man I want to beat. So that's it. Job done. Do you know what I mean? And to be fair, like I said, I hope I'm worrying him, because I'm not daft. I do things which make people look twice. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm probably the best one-armed stone runner in the world. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah.
Do you know, I've got to take that, and I've got to make it better. And if people want to see it, then, like you said, we need to put the right people in the right competition at the right time to speculate, to bring the sport up. Do you know what I mean? Like, no offense to Mike. At the end of the day, he's a competitor, he's a warrior, and he fights. But it's not. I already won in my head. I already won, and that's where they were beating me.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's one of them. I can't wait for it. I hope you do get to Canada.
I'd love to, really, mate. I'd love to, because, like I said in that post, I've competed at Worlds 2 times. I've done 2019, 2020, and I finished on the podium both times. And 2019, I come second to Mike Bishop. And then in 2020, I was leading him by 1 point going into that final event. There was only 4 events. So if there had been 5 events, I might even have done him. Do you know what I mean? And I just felt like, I've been putting in so much work, and I've been trying so hard, and I've got so much better as a strongman. Like, even my weaknesses now are now strengths.
Yeah.
And I'd love to be able to get the chance to just go up against him and keep going until I can win it. But it's just such a shame when it's money that's getting in the way. You know what I mean? It's just a tragedy.
Well, hopefully we can. I know we've got something on the 23rd, 22nd, 23rd of this month, where we're going to hopefully raise a bit of awareness for the sport, and hopefully we can get some.
Oh, the deadlift thing.
Yeah, so hopefully we can get that done.
Amazing, mate. That fair play. That's going to be badass.
No, that's the 29th. We're in Farnborough on the 23rd. If you can get up here to Catterick, up to Bishop Auckland on the 29th, come and do an hour deadlifting with me. Do you know what? Easy, mate. If you can't do it, I'll be more than happy to. I'll be there for 24 hours, so it doesn't matter what time you get there. Just keep me going for an hour.
Yeah,
you know definitely come up.
Sure.
Yeah, definitely. I am looking forward to it, because it's 2 things. One, I'm raising, because the Highland Games team that I'm a part of is basically wounded, sick, or injured soldiers.
Yeah.
And they're self-funded, so it's a lot of the time we've got to get up to Scotland, we've got to pay entry fees, we've got to camping and hotels and all that sort of stuff, like team kit and all that sort of stuff. So they're struggling for that, like at the minute, because it's Christmas and all that sort of stuff. So I turned around and had the bright idea that I was going to deadlift for 24 hours, and I've got to beat 520,000 kilo in 24 hours. That's the number I've got to go for. But the other, on the flip side of that, I want to use them 24 hours to make people for suicide prevention.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people don't really talk about. A lot of people don't really ask for help.
Yeah.
But if I see someone like I was at that point, I would spot that and intervene, and that's how it should happen. That's the only way that's going to stop. Like, if you've got the balls really to ask for help and you're that low, that takes some strength to do.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that's what the whole 29th is about.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to push. That's what I really want to get out. And
well, yeah. And any way I can support that, mate, you know, I'm bang up for it. Like, it's something.
Come and do an hour with me, or a couple.
Cool. Yeah, I'll try and get up, mate, on the 29th. I'll see what I can do. With me, it's tough, because I've got to do work where it's there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get. Well, you don't have to worry about a place to stay, mate. You can use my gaff. It's only like a couple of, do you know what I mean? That's not a problem. But yeah. So hopefully you can get up there and you can see. You're going
to be streaming it or anything?
Yeah, so I'm going to be streaming it on YouTube. I'm going to be streaming, going live on like Insta and stuff. I'm hopefully going to try and get a couple of podcasts done as I'm lifting.
That'll be mad.
So yeah, but it's going to be solely around what people's experiences with mental health, suicide prevention, what they can do, and at the end of it, I want as many people to talk about how they went from being that low to being back to where they are now. So it might help someone, because my way might not be the same for you. Your way might not be the same for me. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I want to try and get across. There's more than one way to skin a cat. There's more than one way to stop doing this. There's more than one way to bring them numbers down where people are taking their own lives. And it's not about veterans taking their own lives. It's not about males over 40 taking their own lives. It's about everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone, a female, everyone. Like, people wouldn't believe the stats, how many kids do it.
Yeah, it's great.
Do you know what I mean? It's shocking. And this is why I want to do a broad thing where it's not directed at one group of people. It's for everyone, so everyone can hear the way that might help for them, or a different way of trying. Do you know what I mean? And that's what it's all about. And hopefully the day will be it's going to be a hard day anyway for me.
Wow.
But I'm just mental enough to do it anyway, so I don't really care.
Yeah, you're a tough old fucking bloke, and you'll be all right, I think.
I think I'm going to smash it, to be fair. Well, I would like you to come up, because that'll be a good day. It's going to be a good day.
I will definitely join, mate,
yeah, I need as many people just to cover an. You don't have to just be there for an hour. It's more about keeping me going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which I'm not got a problem with doing it, but it's just new face, an hour to go, new face, an hour to go. And it's just that mental break as well. Because I know I'm doing it for a good purpose.
Stuff like that as well. For instance, you doing that should surely be streamed through the World's Strongest Disabled Man website, the Facebook page, or whatever.
Well, we can only ask the question, can't we?
But I mean, that definitely should, because I mean, you're an athlete in that competition. Surely you're doing incredible feat of fucking strength like that. That's the exact type of stuff they need to be putting out. And this is sort of what my post was about earlier. That I don't know, and it's shit. I'm not trying to criticize anyone. I'm not trying to shit on anyone's pride. But I'm saying that maybe all of us need to come together and maybe come together as a committee or something.
Well, there was talk of this in Iceland, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was actually talk of that in Iceland. Yeah. So
me and Mike Bishop have spoke about it before, and we sit and brainstorm sometimes, but yeah, maybe something a bit more organised where we all know our roles, and do you know what I mean? And it's the only way. You've got to be organised if you're attacking and trying to bring something up. You can't just hope for the best, can you? Do you know what I mean?
No, I totally get that. But no, I do agree, and I do think things need to change.
Yeah.
But like I said, if I can't get there, yes, I'm going to be a little bit upset. But you'll understand when I say that. I don't do it for recognition. I don't do it to be famous. I do it because it's what we do. Do you know what I mean?
And that's not the point. I'm with me.
I know exactly what you mean. It's
to bring the sport.
Yeah,
you've got to bring the characters up with it. That's what they did in the pros, when it with Eddie Hall and Thor and all them.
Yeah,
you bring them faces up, and it brings everyone up with it. You know what I mean? That's the way I see it, anyway.
Well, no, definitely. I totally agree. Right, mate. So, what have you got planned for your immediate future? I know you were opening the gym. I know we spoke earlier before, and that's sort of not gone the way you need it to go. But tell me, you're still make a go of it, like.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's the eventual plan. I'd like to open my own gym. I mean, it was the gym that saved my life all them years back when I was I got into hard drugs.
KTM Nutrition, to do all your dietary and supplement needs, whether you want to lose weight or gain weight. Discount code is MT10, capital letters. The website for KTM Nutrition is in the link in the description below. And now we're going to get back to the podcast.
And I was working like a shitty job with a mate of mine. And he was like a bodybuilder. And we used to start early and stuff. And I'd been up all night getting off the head and just being an idiot. And I remember I went in the one morning and he looked at me and said, "Mate, you look like shit. Why don't you come with me to the gym tonight?" And I did. I don't even know what changed in me, but I did. And it changed my life from that day on. It really did save me from the way I was. I mean, my brother died 6 months before I lost my leg. My brother died because he was a heroin addict from the age of 15. So, like, you know, I've been around that world my whole life. My dad was an alcoholic. You know, my brother was a drug dealer from an early age, and we used to have the door kicked off by the police every week, mate, ripping the house apart. So I've been through it all, and you know, I was going south. So when I found the gym, I'm not exaggerating when I say it saved my life, mate. You know what I mean? So,
see, it's mad because if you'll understand this when I tell you this. People ask me what motivates me. People ask me why I'm so strong. And it's not like what people expect I'm going to say. I turn around and say pain.
Yeah.
Pain made me the way I am.
Yeah. Yeah, I can understand that, to be honest.
You know what I mean? People don't get it. They really don't. And it's like
the dark places that I use to feel when I'm doing stuff. Yeah.
I tell you something. Every time I go and lift a weight or in like competition time, I'm dark. I don't speak to people straight after because I'm in that place. You know what I mean? So. But no, mate, do you know what? I'll have to get you back on for another podcast. I'm going to have to, because we're going to have to shut this one down. Chris, it's been a pleasure speaking to you, mate. And like I said, I hope I see you in the competitions this year. And I'm going to come down to the gym. I'm going to come and do your strongman Saturday. Definitely, we'll get it all videoed and whatever else. If you could say one thing now to someone who's in our predicament that will sit on their ass, what would it be?
Mate, for me, to just be live in your fucking self. Pull your socks up. That's what I say to the lads. Clock in, get to fucking work. Don't sit around feeling sorry for yourself, because one day you ain't gonna have no one to sit around feeling sorry for, because you ain't gonna be here. Sleep when you're dead, mate. Get up and get on with it.
Get on with life. Mate, couldn't have said it a better way. Like I said, totally appreciate you coming on. More than happy. And we'll speak soon in regards to all the other stuff. I'll speak to you offline. But no, thank you very much for coming on the podcast. It's been a mega on this one. Cheers, Chris. Thank you very much.
Cheers, pal.
Thank you very much for listening to the podcast tonight. Thank you very much to Chris for coming on. Remember, if you have any burning questions, please let them come through. Please DM me or message me or email me through the links on the actual podcast, and I'll answer them as best I can. If you've got any questions for Chris, please let me know. And I'll obviously at the bottom of this podcast, I'll put all his social media tags on there as well, so you can go and have a look and see what he's doing, how he's smashing it. So thank you very much for listening to Mind Over Body Podcast, and I'll speak to you next week.